I want to welcome our guests for the night. There probably will be a lot of you who may want to get up and dance, so for those of you who are sitting, just make sure you leave a little bit of room for people who want to dance for the evening. And we'll get on with the show. Welcome, enjoy yourselves. For those of you who haven't noticed, we're doing some filming tonight. So by being here, you all have agreed essentially to be part of the film. If you don't want to be a part of the film, you need to let us know and I think step to the sidelines so that we don't disrespect your wishes. Okay? Enjoy yourselves.
right. You're here. You're okay. You're here. It's okay. We'll work on your feelings throughout the night. I'm ready to work on it. I like to commit for time periods, very short ones. But I wanted to let you know tonight, it's our night. Tonight, we can do whatever we want. Tonight, this museum is actually alive instead of a dead space. Tonight, all these memories in this house, they're just wings for you to fly free. Take up all the space you want. Be all the kinds of you want to be. We're gonna hang out, we're gonna make music, we're gonna sing some songs. You do you, because we're doing us no matter what. This song is called Ayan Taban. I learned it from 3 girls who wrote it when they were very young. I met them when they were 15, 13, and 11. I was working on this documentary called Beats of the Antonov. And in this documentary, we were kind of talking about where all the conflicts happen in between the things we say and the things we mean. Where our identity and our resources meet or don't meet. So this documentary taught me so much about what it really means to be myself, to be human, to truly thrive. And that usually looked like a love song in the middle of a war zone. And it took 3 girls to teach it to me. Young, wise, smart, beautiful, in charge of their lives. This song is dedicated to Muna and her friends. I hope we meet at home again. Ayan Taban. Ayan Taban, ayan Taban, ayan Taban. So, I don't know. I guess I never realized how old I was until I was older. Because I was kind of born old, so I just assumed everybody else was old. But not all of y'all are. Because sometimes we're born young. And when we're born young, we need to anchor into something. When we're born young, we think that the old is something that will hold us back. When we're born young, we think that the past is not real. Kind of like a sarab. How do you say sarab بالإنجليزي? Mirage, yeah, mirage. Kind of like a mirage. But the past isn't a mirage. It's also not behind you. It's not in front of you. It's beneath you. It's what keeps you standing. Because gravity isn't really that real. It's just your roots that keep you anchored. And you're never meant to stay weighted. You're meant to fly free. But freedom comes from feeling safe. For me, roots made me feel safe. Roots are not what other people say they are. Home is not what other people say they are. Home is whatever you feel safe in, whatever you feel seen in, witnessed in, whatever makes you feel anchored. You can take the little bits of home you like and build a new home with it. And it will still look like you, like the ones before you, but also only like you. This song is for our roots. Nubanutu. شوفوني في حبك أخوض أمواج البحر بدون قيود العيب يا دايم يا مريود شوفوني في حبك أخوض أمواج البحر بدون قيود العيب يا دايم يا مريود الكون في حضنك غرام يدوم الكون في حضنك غرام يدوم This last song is from our upcoming album that we're still finishing. You know, the interesting thing about albums is that, well, not albums actually. I think it might be the interesting thing about artists is that like some people go to therapy and then some people make art. I'm the last one.
Although therapy's great.
Yo, health insurance is not cheap.
No, it's not. So if you got it, get it.
So, the magic of that, though, is that there's these layers of processing through the emotions. And as you write things from the past to the present, you really start to see yourself connecting dots that you didn't even know you were trying to connect, you know? Like for me, with this album, I was basically kind of writing a series of love songs to myself. I was. Yeah, I wish. And in the midst of it, a revolution happened, you know? And this revolution made me realize that revolutions are not about the outside, they're about the inside. And they happen mostly in love songs. And those love songs are really spaces where you feel space to ask yourself, when I show up, how do I show up? Because you can believe in whatever you want to believe. But when time covers those cities in sand and dust and there's nothing left but memories, all that's left to be said is how you showed up. So how do you show up? This song is called Man Ana. Who am I? من أنا لو ما حبيتك واستنيتك من أنا لو ما هتفت في سبيلك رجلك الدرب في مسيرك من أنا كتمت وكان في لحظة سكون قبل الهبوب وأنا واقفة مستنياك عمال أقول من أنا صدى السؤال زي الرعد بدق من جبل لجبل ولما التراب يغطي المدن وبكرة يجلس امبارح وإيده ردك بس بيكون الفرق وبكرة لف وامبارح وبكرة في إيده وردك بس بيكون الفرق ردك بس بيكون الفرق ردك بس بيكون الفرق حكاية حبي ليك تسر من الماضي إلى الآن اسمي على لسانك لمعت النجوم بيبي في السماء حكاية حبي ليك تسر من الماضي إلى الآن مهما تحاول ما تنسى جايك طريق الأموال والقمر حاوي البلد الجفاف رجي سيول الشوق ترويها والذكريات حبيبي زي البيزور المنتورة في موسم الجفاف ذكريات حبيبي زي البيزور المنثورة في موسم الجفاف نادي يسيول الشوق ترويها واسمي على لسانك لمعة النجوم بيبي في السماء حكاية حبي لك تسم من الماضي إلى الآن مهما تحاول ما تنسى اللي جاي ضايع الأموال My mom, my grandma, my
Love you, Panda.
love y'all. It's all family vibes in here. I see all my lovers over there. My lovers, my lovers. This song is called Habibi. My lover, my lover, my lover. يا مؤمن بالسعادة وش الأماني الدرع يا المناضل للبراءة ومتساوم مع الظلم عارف وصولك وده سلاحك التقدم وجناحك واجه عيوبك بصراحة بالحنان تغيير يتم يا المؤمن بالسعادة وش الأماني الدرع يا المناضل للبراءة ومتساوم مع الظلم واجه عيوبك بصراحة بالتقدم وجناحك واجه عيوبك بصراحة بالحنان تغيير يتم حبيبي 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 خيرك فايض عالبرافقك بتضوي درب المستقبل يا المؤمن بالسعادة وش الأماني الدرع الوصية في تراثك الجذور سر النمو زي النخيل دعم السحابة إيدك طايلة للشمس يا المؤمن بالسعادة وش الأماني كالدرع خيرك فايض عالبرافقك بتضوي درب المستقل عارف وصولك وده سلاحك التقدم وجناحك واجه عيوبك بصراحة بالحنان تغيير الشمس يا المؤمن بسعادة وشال أماني كالدراع يا المناضل للبراءة وما تساوي مع الظلم عارف وصولك وده سلاحك التقدم وجناحك وده عيوبك يا صراحة من حنان تغيير يتم حبيبي 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 تا 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 تيا تا تا تيا تا تا شروق جوا شمس الحرية شروق جوا شمس الحرية شروق جوا شمس الحرية شروق جوا يا الزمن جاكم يا الزمن جاكم المفعول به بعد ذاته يا الزمن جاكم يا الزمن جاكم المفعول به بعد ذاته المفعول به بعد ذاته المفعول به بعد ذاته المفعول به بعد ذاته المفعول به بعد ذاته. وينك جوفي؟ The thing about writing songs is that they're not really words and they're not really sounds. They're like moving sound pictures, right? And so when you're making them, they're never really articulate, but they're very clear. You know, the way you can't say exactly all the picture, that the way it feels in you, the colors. Sound is color. To me, sound is colors. This song is a blue wash. This song is full of indigo. This song is full of white splashes and black blotches. This is the song that you sing to yourself when you're in a space where you know this is the darkest point of the night, but you also know the dawn is coming. This is the song you sing to yourself when you know that the only importance of existing is to know that you are remembered. Because if you're not remembered, did you really exist? If the story wasn't told again, did it really happen? How many deaf ears does it need to fall on for it to be forgotten? How easy could it be to just hear? This is the song that you sing to yourself when you know that the lighthouse is bringing you home. When you know that the sea, no matter how stormy, will guide you home if you know how to submit right. The magic of the sea is that its ultimate lesson is submission. You can never fight the sea. You can never be more powerful than the sea. You must always submit to the sea. And when you submit, you ride that sea. When you submit, that sea is your highway. When you submit, that sea is your star, your sun, the way you rise out of this place. This song is for our lighthouse. This song is called Manara. Sukura. Now you can do it.
Huh?
Kick his ass.
I think it's Sakura time. This is the first song we ever recorded as a band together. That's wrong. Well, our first single anyways. This song, I need to tell you guys the story. This song started out as really another song entirely. Moena had a song called Sukura. And from that song, which I enjoyed very much, I legit just stole the bass line. Just stole it. But then I stole Moena with the bass line, so it didn't feel quite as like thefty. You know what I mean? So I kept Moena, I kept the bass line, and we kept the name Sukura, but then we changed everything else. This song is called Sukura. It's late. بتدوب من العيون بتدوب الوداع كشف المكتوب ده حبيبنا مصيره يعود 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 الوداع كشف المكتوب ده حبيبنا مصيره يعود. When I was young, one of the most common stories we would get told in Sudan, and I think anywhere Nubian girls lived and were told to be afraid. One of those stories, one of those myths, it's a legend before all of you go coming up with NGOs to protect us. Yeah, we cool. Just a story. So, the story would go like this. Every season, the Nile River would flood because the Nile gods were angry and lonely. And every season, they would just flood the shores with their anger, destroying everything in their path. And I'm not sure why my people didn't think to just move their houses a few like doors down, but they didn't. They just thought, you know what? We can't have our neighbor be mad because we're communal like that. You should learn a lesson from that. You should care about your neighbor. It's true, you spend more time with your neighbor than you actually do with your family if you live away from them. You should care about your neighbor. Our neighbor was an angry Nile god. And our neighbor had mad demands. But we knew how to work with that neighbor. You know what we said to that neighbor? We're like, neighbor, you know what, boo? You're just getting your problems wrong. Your problems is that you need a wife. Because everybody's problems can be solved with the right wife. It's true, it doesn't matter what your gender or your sexual orientation is. If you're straight, if you're queer, if you're a man, if you're a woman, if you're in between, if you're undecided, whatever you want, your problems can be solved with a wife. I'm not kidding, not even a little bit. I can argue this to the death. Because you know what? Your wife, whatever her gender, their gender, will take care of you. They'll take care of you in that way we used to talk about in tradition. Traditions are not about the way in which you are conformed or the way in which you are tied down. They are about the options you got. Traditions are about the ways in which you can fulfill what you need in contracts actually acknowledged by others. Where we all walk into the room knowing the clauses. I love contracts. I love contracts. Like the magical Grace Jones said, I love everything official. So I'd like to write all the nuances of my existence into things that are official. Such as when the Nile god says, I'm gonna flood your village and I'm gonna kill all your people and we're going to take all of this down. We said, you know what? Let's put together a contract. How about this? I'm gonna give you a sexy wife. That sexy wife, they're gonna burn the right incense for you. They're gonna bathe you. You're gonna smell so good, you're gonna eat so right, that just after 3 months of singing and incantations, you're gonna be done. You're gonna be feeling so good, you won't even remember you ever flooded. Maybe you'll need a new wife. We got mad wives. And you know what? We all need mad wives. All of us. I'm here to tell you this. 4 is just a start. I know this sounds problematic. There's a layer of sarcasm underneath it, but I've got a lot of things to talk about this. Later on, if we had more time, I can talk about privatization, capitalism, monogamy, and all its repercussions. But for now, I'm just saying 4 is pretty damn good. So Nile gods had like 4,000. Nile gods thought they were winning, but they weren't, because the wives always win. The wives always win. the wives know what's up. The wives were like, yo, boo, I burned some incense. You're in a coma now until next season. I'm off. Bye. So wives went off doing their immortality thing because the bottom of the Nile is not filled with crocodiles. It's filled with mermaids doing their divorcee thing. Okay? So you're very, very, very welcome. We give you math, we give you pyramids, we give you mermaids. Now, let's sing this song. أنا عروس النيل
أنا عروس النيل
أنا عروس النيل
أنا عروس النيل
أقبل ركبها أقبل ركبها تهدو قابلة تهدو قابلة يا عديل الليل يا عديل الليل يا عديل الليل يا عديل الليل kesa, oh kesa, kesa kesa 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 kesa, oh kesa. Thank you guys. You're so beautiful. Big shout out to Rami Al-Asad and his gold pants and his amazing clothes. He's my co-founder and my partner in crime since way back when. It's true. Well, I do the crime. He just stands around with a drum. I want to say thank you to all of you for coming out tonight. Being here means so much. I really believe in celebrating history. I really believe in celebrating community. And I feel like when we do that in a room like this together, we're truly doing it together. Without your past, you don't know why you're here. Without your past, you don't know where you're going. And so whatever it has in that past, scars, pain, trauma, joy, they're all lessons. So this entire concert is basically dedicated to history because I love history. So here's to Brooklyn's history. Thank you so much, Brooklyn. Thank you for making a home for me. This is my chosen home forever and evermore until I die and come into another lifetime with many, many more homes. I also own like 10,000 homes in my mind. So we're all home together, always. I want to say thank you so much to Camilo and to Sandra, who came all the way from Queens to support me today. Those who have been with me since our first EP, since our first album, since before this band even started. I'm so happy that we can grow together. This is what history is all about. Thank you for being there. I remember when y'all were building your studio and it was dusty and this band wasn't even around. We were in another band with like members of us. God, I love y'all. I love time. I love the way it passes and makes everything seem trivial. I love that. Let's celebrate that. Let's be tender with one another forever and ever and ever more, okay? Please? Thank you. Can we say yes? Can we say yes? Can we say yes? Yes! Tender forever and evermore. This is the last song we have for you tonight. And this song is dedicated for all the ones that want to be tender forevermore. Habibi Ta'al, my love, come here and be with me. Thank you to my musical family, Mawena Kujovi on bass and trumpet and vocals, Brendan Terzic on oud, Nahid on keys and vocals. Thank you to my mom and my grandma for giving birth to us. Thank you to my musical mentor, Toshi Regan, I love you. Thank you to my beautiful friends right here, I love y'all so much. This night is for all of us, for tenderness, Habibi Ta'al. Ya Habibi, Habibi Ta'al.